Every week there's a new AI tool, a new AI model, or a new AI update, and some people try to ignore it, but it is not slowing down. And if you're watching this, you're not asking whether AI matters anymore, you're asking how to actually make sense of it without wasting the next 2 years learning the wrong things. So whether you want to use AI to grow your business, create more content in less time, or just stop feeling behind every time something new drops, this video is going to give you the fundamentals and core skills that won't change. I'm going to walk you through the complete AI landscape, so this includes every key concept, how it all fits together, and a clear roadmap so that you know exactly where you are and what to focus on next. It's much simpler than you think, and by the end, you're going to have the full big picture so that you can stop guessing and actually start building with clarity. I also built a free AI landscape guide to go along with this, and I actually coded it myself using Claude code, which is its own proof of what becomes possible when you understand how to use AI strategically, even if you're not super techie. The link is in the description, or you can go to aifinallyclicks.com. Now let's get into the landscape. So this guide is broken down into 3 sections. Let's start with section 1, the AI landscape, which is the foundation that everything else is built on. Within it, there are 15 concepts organized into 4 groups, and the order is intentional. Each one builds on the last, so follow along in sequence, and by the end, the whole picture will finally fall into place. Let's start with the first group, understand AI. Before you can fully use AI effectively, you need to know what you're actually working with. So starting with chatbots and AI products, understand that ChatGPT, Claude, and Gemini are AI products. Think of them like restaurants. Each one has its own menu, strengths, and vibe. Most creators, coaches, and entrepreneurs use AI by asking and getting answers one conversation at a time, but that's a bit like walking up to the front counter and placing an order. Behind that counter is a whole kitchen, and behind that kitchen is an entire city, a much larger AI ecosystem that most people never even see. Why does that matter for you? Because that's where you move from simply getting answers to building systems, creating specialized assistants, and automating work that once took a lot of your time. That's exactly what this guide is designed to solve. Understanding AI isn't about memorizing every restaurant or tool. It's about understanding the city itself and how the pieces fit together, where they belong, and when they actually matter for your business. Now that you know what a chatbot is, here's something that trips a lot of people up, and that is what's the difference between the product versus the model, because they're not the same thing. Again, the product is the application that you're typing into, like ChatGPT, Claude, or Gemini. They're like the restaurants, but the model is the intelligence that's powering it behind the scenes. Think of this like the chef. So ChatGPT is made by the company OpenAI, but the intelligence inside of it comes from its ChatGPT models, such as ChatGPT 5.5. Claude is made by Anthropic, and that's powered by their own model family. The same idea applies across the board. Why does this matter? Because the model is what actually determines quality and capability. So when a company trains a smarter model, the product gets better, but you're still using the same restaurant, but the chef team just leveled up. And understanding this helps you make smarter decisions. It's why one AI model might be better for long-form writing, while another one is stronger for research or analysis. So you're not just picking a restaurant, you're picking a chef team, and knowing which team does what the best is a real competitive advantage. So we just talked about the model being the chef team, but let's go one level deeper. A large language model, or LLM, is a technology that gives AI its ability to understand language, recognize patterns, generate responses, and work through many types of problems. So think of this as the chef's brain. The chef can create a dish because they have spent years learning ingredients, techniques, recipes, and patterns. Same thing with an LLM. It works the same way because it was trained on a vast amount of text, code, and information. So when you ask AI to write an email or brainstorm ideas or to explain a concept, it's generating a response based on patterns it learned during training. The better the training, the more capable the chef. And some AI products have web search built into the model, but the model itself still works by generating, not looking things up. That's an important distinction, because next we have hallucinations, which flows directly from what we just covered, and it's something you absolutely need to understand before you trust AI with anything important. A hallucination is a plausible sounding but incorrect output, and it can happen even when the model sounds completely confident. Because remember, AI is generating responses based on patterns, and it's not verifying facts all the time. So the model can still produce an answer that sounds convincing even if the information is missing, unclear, or incorrect. And sometimes your chef won't know the recipe, but they'll still try to create something that looks right. And it might look convincing, but it might not be what you actually ordered. So always taste before you serve to your audience. And this is so that you don't lose trust. So never publish AI generated facts, stats, quotes, legal or medical information without verifying. Use AI for structure, language, and speed, but use your judgment and reliable sources for truth. Treat every output as a confident first draft, not as a final source. Next, we have multimodal AI, and this is where things start to get really interesting because modern AI isn't limited to just text anymore. It can understand and generate images, audio, documents, and video. So your chef can now work from a photo of a dish, a voice description, or a handwritten note. So this means that you can screenshot a competitor's landing page and ask for a teardown. You can upload a podcast transcript and turn it into a newsletter, record a voice note and turn it into a LinkedIn post. The list goes on. So this single shift unlocks a completely different level of usefulness for your business. Now that you understand what AI actually is under the hood, the next group of cards is about how to use AI better. Let's start with the most fundamental skill in this entire guide, which is prompting. A prompt is a request that you type into AI. Most weak AI results don't come from a weak model, they come from weak inputs. For example, if you type in write me a caption, this gives AI almost nothing to work with. But if you say write an Instagram caption for a life coach launching a 12-week confidence program, warm and direct tone, the audience is women in their 30s and 40s, rebuilding after burnout, and with a soft call to action, this gives the model what it needs to actually produce something that you could actually use. Remember, the model is the chef and your prompt is the order. A vague order gets a generic dish, but if you put something in specific, you get exactly what you need. It's the same kitchen, but a very different result. The more clearly you communicate the role, context, format, and outcome, the more reliably AI works for you as a business partner. Prompting is a skill, not a feature, and this is one of the best skills that you can develop right now. Next, we have context windows, and this is something that can trip a lot of people up if they're not aware of it. A context window is the amount of text the model can consider at once in a single conversation. Once it fills up, then earlier content may no longer factor into the responses. This isn't because AI forgot, but it's because it's no longer in the active workspace. Think of this like a chef counter. It can only hold so many ingredients at once, and when it fills up, things from earlier move to the side. And so what's not on the counter now, they can't work with. Why does this matter for you? Because if you paste an entire course outline or a long email thread and research articles in one conversation and you start asking questions, then earlier content may no longer be visible to the model. The good news is that context windows are growing, but as a practical tip, break long projects down into smaller focused sessions and summarize key context at the start of each new conversation to keep the most important information in view. Or you can create this next concept on the list, which is system prompts. This is where things start to get really powerful, and honestly, this is one of the highest leverage skills that you can set up right now in your entire AI workflow. A system prompt is a set of instructions that guides AI on how to behave throughout a conversation. So it defines the role it plays, the voice it uses, the audience it speaks to, the format of the outputs, and just the rules when making decisions. A regular prompt is today's request, but a system prompt is the standing brief that shapes every single response. So for creators, imagine never re-explaining your brand voice, your audience, or your content standards ever again, because your system prompt handles it once. So every caption, email, or script comes back already calibrated from what you put in there. So here's a simple formula to build one. You are a role, fill in the blank. You write in voice and tone. Your audience is, fill in the blank. Every time I give you this input, respond with this format using this framework, and never, and you could put in certain rules in there. So start with your most used task and test it with real examples to refine it until it's consistent, and then save it. Think of this like your chef's professional standards. Before they ever touch an ingredient, they already know your cuisine style, your plating rules, and how you like to flavor things. So they already know how you operate, you just hand them today's ingredients. You could even build on that to have something even more powerful. So you can have a custom GPT, or you can have a Claude project, or a Gemini gem. So this is a configured AI assistant with your instructions, files, and tools already loaded in. And so you could build it once and use it whenever you need it. Unlike a system prompt alone, these setups also include files, knowledge sources, and connected tools. and also your brand guidelines, writing samples, SOPs, research, and frameworks. So the AI has access to everything it needs every time you start a conversation. For creators, the most useful setups are a content editor that knows your voice and rewrites it without losing it, a caption writer trained on your specific examples and audience, an email writer that sounds like you, and a research assistant that knows your niche and formats the findings in a way that you actually could use them. One thing worth clarifying is that a custom GPT or Claude project doesn't create a smarter version of the AI trained specifically on your data because you're still using the same underlying model. What changed is the context. So your instructions, your files, and your knowledge are already loaded in every time you start a conversation. Imagine a chef who arrives every morning already fully briefed on your cuisine, your standards, your audience, your recipe book, and whatever kitchen tools you use. You don't need to re-explain anything, you just hand them today's assignment. Once you have strong prompts and custom setups, then you're ready to start building systems. This is where AI begins working beyond just a single conversation and where you start getting back real time. So starting with automations, these are tasks that happen automatically when a trigger occurs. So something happens and then an action runs. So you set it up once and it keeps working in the background. For creators, an automation might generate a transcript when a new video is uploaded. It might send a confirmation email when someone applies to work with you, or maybe it delivers onboarding materials when a client joins your program. The goal isn't to remove you from your work. It's to remove you from the repetitive parts so that your time goes towards the things that only you can do. Think of automations like individual kitchen staff. So each person has one specific job, and when something happens, then they immediately handle their task without waiting for your instructions. If an automation handles one task, then a workflow connects many of them into a complete system. So a workflow is a series of connected steps that moves information from one stage to the next. The important idea here isn't the individual pieces, it's the entire process, and it runs from start to finish without you manually managing each step. So for creators, a workflow might be when a new YouTube video is uploaded, the transcript is generated, sent to AI with your repurposing instructions, and then it's turned into a blog post, added into your content database, and it's queued for email distribution. So one piece of content becomes multiple assets with minimal manual effort. Think of this like the entire kitchen operation. So multiple staff members perform different jobs in a sequence until a finished meal reaches the customer. Nobody is standing there coordinating each step. The system just runs. So workflows connect automations. Now, agents takes it one step further. An agent is AI that can plan and take multiple steps towards a goal instead of completing a single task and stopping. So rather than telling it exactly what to do at each step, you describe the outcome you want, and then the agent determines how to get there using the tools and information available to it. For creators, an agent might research your top competitors, analyze your positioning, summarize key insights, organize the findings into a document, and then prepare recommendations for your next piece of content. So you provided the goal, and then the agent handled the process. And here's an important distinction. An agent is not just a chatbot with a different name. A chatbot responds and waits, whereas an agent can make decisions and choose actions and move through multiple steps before returning to a result. So today's agents typically operate within defined guardrails, and they often include human review checkpoints along the way. So an automation is one kitchen worker doing one job. A workflow is multiple workers coordinating together. An agent is like the kitchen manager. You give it a goal, and then they decide which staff members need to do what to get it done. Most creators don't need agents immediately, but understanding what they do can help you recognize when a simple automation or workflow is no longer enough. These last three concepts fall under advanced infrastructure, and they're important to understand, but for most creators watching this, you won't be building them yourself, but you do need to know why they exist and what they do so that you understand how your tools are working behind the scenes. Starting with APIs, an API is a connection point that lets two pieces of software pass information back and forth. Think of it as the service entrance at the back of the restaurant. So this is the door that suppliers and delivery drivers use. You never go through it as a customer. Platforms like Zapier or Make are the delivery drivers who do. You just tell them what you want them to carry, and then you build the workflow, they manage the connection. If you ever built a Zap, then you've already used an API. You just didn't have to touch it directly. And just to be clear, working with APIs does not mean that you need to write code. Most creators get everything that they need from no-code platforms that handle all that for them, But understanding what APIs are simply just helps you to know how your tools are communicating behind the scenes. So APIs handle how your tools communicate. RAG is about what information your AI can actually access. So RAG stands for Retrieval Augmented Generation. It means the AI retrieves relevant content from your own documents before generating a response. So the answer is grounded in your specific material, not just general training data. So for creators, this is how you build an AI that can reference your coaching methodology, your course content, and brand materials when answering questions. So you upload your material, ask a question, get an answer rooted in your actual work, not just generic knowledge. One important distinction is that RAG is not fine-tuning and it's not a system prompt. You're not changing the model or defining how it behaves. You're giving it a library to reference before it responds. Think of it as the chef's personal recipe book. When a question comes up, they look it up before they plate the dish. Last one, and this is the one that you're least likely to ever need, but you should still know it, and this is fine-tuning. It means taking an existing AI model and further training it on a specialized data set so that it can consistently behave in a specific way. So you're not providing instructions at runtime, you're changing what the model learns during training. So this is very technically intensive, and it's mostly used by companies building AI products at scale. Again, most creators are never going to need this. Strong prompting, custom GPTs, and knowledge bases are going to give you everything you need. If your outputs aren't where you want them to be, the answer is almost always better instructions or better context first. Fine-tuning is like sending your chef back to culinary school for specialized training. Most creators should just master the recipe, the brief, and the cookbook long before even considering that. Before we move into how all this fits together, I want to take a pause for a second. This guide covers the processes pillar, so this is one of 6 pillars that I teach for building an irreplaceable brand in the AI era. Knowing how to use AI strategically is essential, but it's only one piece of the foundation. So for a full breakdown, download my free playbook down below, which includes prompts that you can use to implement immediately. And if you're already feeling like this is a lot to navigate alone, I also have built ARC, AI Resilient Creators. This is my monthly membership community where I help creators and entrepreneurs stay oriented, know what actually matters each month, and build across all 6 pillars, not just processes. Because here's what separates ARC from everything else out there. I'm not just teaching you AI, I'm teaching you how to become irreplaceable in the AI era. So how to build a brand and a business with real purpose, positioning, platforms, people, and profit behind it so that AI works for you instead of replacing you. Right now, I'm running a founder member scholarship, so one person wins a full annual membership completely free, and everyone else who applies and qualifies gets something as well. The link is in the description. It takes 3 minutes to apply, and apply before June 27th, but if it's after June 27th, you can just sign up right away. Now that you know what each piece is, let's move on to section 2 where it all fits together, because each plays a different role within the AI ecosystem. So let's think about this in 3 layers. Layer 1 is the recipe system. This includes prompts, system prompts, custom GPTs, Claude projects, Gemini gems, etc. This is where you shape how AI behaves, and this is where most creators, coaches, and consultants will get 80% or more of their results. So start here, master this before anything else. Layer 2 is a delivery system. This includes automations, workflows, agents. This is where AI starts working beyond a single conversation, and this is where AI also begins to save you real time and reduce repetitive work and create leverage across your entire business. Layer 3, this is the foundation layer. So this includes models, APIs, RAG, fine-tuning. This layer powers everything above it, and most creators, again, don't need to build here. But understanding it helps you understand why different roles have different capabilities and why some things work the way they do. And remember that most stay at a chatbot window forever. They ask questions one at a time and get an answer. But the real opportunity comes when you understand how the layers work together. So that layer 1 provides the instructions, layer 2 moves the work automatically, and layer 3 powers everything underneath it. So more work gets done with less of your time. You now know what this landscape looks like, and you now know how the pieces fit together. But knowing the map is only useful if you know where you are in it. So section 3 gives you that. It's your roadmap in 6 stages that shows you exactly where you are right now, what to focus on next, and what to hold off on so that you don't waste time building the wrong things at the wrong times. Most creators will find everything that they need in stages 1 through 4, and the most important rule before we get into it is don't jump ahead, because stage 2 without stage 1 mastered is like building a delivery system before you even have a recipe. So get each stage working before moving on to the next. Let me walk you through the stages, and I want you to listen for the one that sounds the most like where you are right now. Stage 1 is the AI user. This is you if you're at the kitchen window placing orders. You're here if you're primarily using AI by asking questions in a chat window and you type quick one-line questions and the results feel hit or miss and you haven't really built any reusable AI systems or instructions yet. If that's you, what you want to focus on right now is prompting. So learn how to write clear prompts with a role, context, format, and task, and understand also how hallucinations work and how to catch them. Also use one AI product consistently before comparing others, and know the difference between the different products and models. For now, hold off on Zapier automations and agents and anything advanced because you want to get the fundamentals solid first. Stage 2 is the AI power user. This is you if you walked through the kitchen door, and you're here if you use AI daily for your work, if your prompts are getting more reliable, if you're getting good results, but they're still not consistent yet, and you understand what system prompts are, and you're just tired of re-explaining yourself for every session. This is where most creators are, and this is where AI stops feeling like a tool and starts feeling like a teammate. What you want to focus on now is build system prompts for your main tasks, turn successful prompts into reusable systems, build your first custom GPT or Claude project that understands your voice and offers and business, and start understanding which AI products excel at which tasks. For now, still hold off on any complex automations or workflows, especially hold off on agents or RAG and knowledge bases and fine-tuning. Stage 3 is the automation builder. This one is for the ambitious creators. You're here if you do multi-repetitive tasks regularly, you move data between apps manually, you've heard of Zapier but haven't really used it yet, and you want to multiply your output without more hours. This is where you connect the kitchen to the delivery system. I recommend starting with Zapier Basics and automate 2 or 3 tasks that you currently do manually each week. And start by mapping out your whole workflow on paper before you build it. And if you need help, either ask AI to guide you step by step, and as you do, you can share screenshots with it, or you can look up YouTube tutorials. And I would still hold off for now on any complex automations or AI agents. Stage 4 is workflow designer. This is where you get your business to run while you sleep. You're here if you have repeatable, proven processes, you've automated individual tasks successfully, and you want a content engine on autopilot to save you a lot of time. This is where AI stops helping you with individual tasks and starts improving your entire business process. For most entrepreneurs and business owners, stage 4 delivers the highest return on AI investment. So if you're here, focus on multi-step Zapier or make automations, focus on CRM and tool integrations, and also full content repurposing pipelines. Stage 5 is AI business operator. This is where AI becomes part of how your entire business operates. You're here if AI is already saving you 10 plus hours a week, you have multiple automated pipelines running, and you're thinking about systems leverage and AI strategy at a business level. At this stage, I recommend focusing on agent-style tools for research and admin tasks, also AI for team delegation and SOPs, shared knowledge bases your whole team can use, and measuring AI ROI so that you know it's actually working. This is advanced territory, and most creators watching aren't here yet, but it is worth knowing that this exists so that you know where you're headed. At this stage, tools like Claude Code, Cursor, Windsurf, and GitHub Copilot help AI work directly with software and code. For creators and business owners, these tools can unlock custom automations, internal tools, websites, and applications, but they're not required to get significant value from AI. Finally, stage 6, this is AI systems architect. This is expert level, and here you're building AI products or tools for others. You're working directly with APIs, RAG architecture, code, fine-tuning, and designing multi-agent systems. Again, stages 1 through 4 cover everything that most creators and coaches and consultants will ever need, but stage 6 is primarily for people using AI products and specialized technical solutions. So the goal isn't to master every layer of AI. The goal is to build the right level of leverage for your business so that you know exactly where you are and how to move things forward. So let me know down below which stage are you in. And here's what I want you to leave with. I just drew out the whole AI map for you, but a map is useless if you don't have an engine to drive across it. So the landscape tells you what AI is and where you are in it, but knowing the landscape without a human framework to run it is like knowing every tool in the kitchen and having no recipe, no mission, or no voice behind it. So the creators and entrepreneurs who thrive in this next era aren't just the ones who understand AI the best, they're the ones who are the most irreplaceable because they've built across all six pillars together. So again, if you haven't already, download my free AI Resilient Creator Playbook, which breaks down all six pillars with prompts that you can use to implement immediately. And to go even deeper, again, my AI Resilient Creators membership is for those who are ready to stop figuring this out alone, to finally feel oriented, know what matters every month, and to build across all six pillars with other entrepreneurs who actually get it. The link is in the description. And one last thing, if you haven't seen this video yet, it breaks down the full six pillar framework even further, so go check that out. It's the foundation for everything that I teach, and I think it's going to hit much differently now that you've seen the landscape. So I'll see you for that next video, and thank you for watching.